Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover on the Auto Trail Tracker EB. So coming down the driver's side of the vehicle, the first thing you're going to be met with is the grey waste. So this is all the water that has gone down the plug hole, simply holds in a holding tank, and then when you're departing the site, you drive over the grid called the motorhome service bay and let your water out. In the winter, you want to drain the van down completely, so all water must be drained out of the waste, the fresh and the boiler, which I'll show you when going around the vehicle how to drain off. Up here you've got your main hookup. So you've got your hookup lead, which is 25 meters. Lift the collar, slide this up and hook on like so. Always hook the vehicle up first and then the site, as we wouldn't want you walking around with a live lead in the rain. So all of these lockers open with the key, a small key. And inside you've got some storage. You've got your extension pipe for the waste, so should you not be able to get close enough to the waste disposal point for your grey waste, this connects onto there and then you'll be able to decart your waste off. You've also got your exterior shower, and then open and close the locks. So this opens the cab doors, locks all doors, and opens the rear motorhome door. And this key here, the round key, does all your locks and habitation door. And then this key does your water filler, which is just here. I'll show you in a minute. So this can open and unlock the flap to stop people tampering with your water. Slide it up, and then you put a hose pipe in here and fill, and you can see on the main control panel how much water is on board. Or you've got the 12 volt here. So if you can't get access to a hose pipe, but you can bring water to the van in a aqua roll or a bucket or a holding container, there is a 12 volt submersible pump in the van. Put the 12 volt into here, put the hose into there, and put the submersible pump into the water. You can turn tank fill on the settings in the control panel, and basically it'll turn the pump on, and the pump will start sucking the water out the aqua roll, bucket or holding tank and into the van. Next week you have your external shower. So it's just like a hose, you'd connect it there, and then on the other end you'd have a trigger gun. It's a cold water feed. It's great for if you've been on the beach to clean the dogs off, the kids off, the sandy feet, the bikes. They're filled up with fresh water, but you are either winterizing, or you've taken on contaminated water, or you are ready to drive home and you don't want any water in the van, as you want to run at a lighter payload, which is better for your diesel consumption and payload. You can open this, and this is fresh water, and you drain this off. But especially in the winter, you'd want to drain the vehicle down completely. Toilets in there. This is your toilet cassette. So this is where everything ends up. And to get the cassette out, make sure the slide on the bottom of the bowl is closed, and you'll be able to lift this handle and slide it out like so. You can lift it up, and you've got some wheels, so you can drag it around the site instead of carrying it, should it be full. And then you would go to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside the main toilet block. Take the cover off, so the grey cap. You press the orange button, which allows air into the box and gives it a steady flow and a consistent flow, and then you tip and drain it out like so. And then when you have emptied it, put some water in, give it a rinse and empty again, and then put a cap full of liquid in. So if you are using the liquid in the chemical in the liquid form, the cap full straight into here, and it's ready to use again. If you're using the sachets, which are the tablets, put a pint of fresh water back into the cassette and push it back into the van like so until you hear it click, and you can drop a tablet straight down the toilet, open the blade, and the tablet will degrade into the chemical. And you can lock this again with the black round headed key. On the back of the vehicle, you've got your high level brake light, your built-in reverse camera, and then behind here, so again this lifts off this cover, and then there's a big nut, lifts this fiberglass panel off, and there's a full-size spare wheel behind there. Coming down the passenger side of the vehicle, you do have your underbed storage here. So there's your awning handle, there's your carpets, but the main thing is there's your boiler lives behind here. So this is your boiler drain down tap, this yellow tap. So when it's in this position here, the water dribbles out just behind the wheel. So you want to leave it standing up like so in the winter, or when you're not using it, and drain it down, but especially in the winter as water can freeze, and these pipes are only plastic. So it holds 10 litres of water at any one time, must be drained off, as it will, if it's not drained off and it was to freeze in the boiler, it would break your boiler and you'd have to replace it, and unfortunately it is not covered under warranty. So drain the van off. Once you've got that lifted up, lift all your mixer taps into the middle position and allow any air that's in the lines to just come out. Take your shower head off and lie the shower head hose in the shower tray to stop the water from freezing in the shower hose as well. And then when you come to reuse it, fill it with water, put the tap down like it is now, and then go to the cold side, you'll automatically get cold water. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter. What it's doing is it's drawing the fresh water. And this is your external gas point. So on there you have a gas nozzle. You would attach this to some gas hosing, which is orange, and get a Jubilee clip to tie that to the hosing, and then get another Jubilee clip to tie to your barbecue or your Cassette, and then you can turn it on, and this will use the gas from the van instead of carrying an extra one. You've got your Truma boiler vent, so your boiler's behind here. This just brings the nasties out from the boiler, so all the fumes. Allow it to be obstruction free and don't restrict the flow of the ventilation round at the vent. Fridge vents, and then LPG gas locker, liquid petroleum gas, again opens with the round headed key. And open these locks, you'd push it in, turn it and give it a tap. That's it locked. To unlock, turn, give it a full turn, releases the door, and then you can push it up. So in here you can fit 2 gas bottles, so always make sure when they are in, you've tied them in with the straps provided. Tie them in when travelling, turn them off when you are on the road as well. As much as they've got a crash valve on, turn them off, because it's far safer if you are involved in an accident. So you'd need a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench, left hand thread, nip up with a spanner, turn on at the top of the bottle, and then once you've turned on, if you press this for 3 seconds, this green button allows the gas through the crash valve and into the pigtail, and then if you press that one for 3 seconds as well, 1, 2, 3, it allows the gas into the vehicle. The passenger door, you do have your diesel, so this opens with the main ignition key as well, and you can fill it up with fuel. You've got your tyre pressures on the slam panel, so 5.5 bar all round, which is 79.5 psi front and rear. Underneath the passenger seat is where you'll find your tool kit. So this has got a jack and a brace, a tow iron, a screwdriver, so if you need to be towed off the road or change a wheel, put your spare on, that's where all your kit is. Underneath the floor, this panel lifts off, and this is where your engine battery lives. So should you need to change the battery in the future, you'd have to lift this cover off and lift the battery out through the cab floor. And then you've got your bonnet release, which is just here. In your bonnet, underneath your bonnet, you've got your weight plate. So gross vehicle weight's 4.4 tonne. If you were to put a tow bar on and tow with this vehicle, the train weight can't exceed 5,650. You've got your axle weight and your build and your chassis number on there. paint codes here for the Grigio blue. You've got your oil filler and your oil dipstick down here for checking your levels. Brake fluid, radiator fluid, power steering fluid. This cover lifts off to gain access to them. Main one you're going to need is your washer fluid. And then you've got your earth here for your black jump start lead. And then your red one, if you put your key in here and lift this cover up, your red one would clip onto there, your contact for giving or receiving a jump start. So once on board, this is your main control panel. So it indicates here that we are hooked up by the little electricity mark. And this is your master on off switch. There. So if you're hooked up, it will give you 240 volt. If not, we'll just give you 12 volt of the leisure batteries on board. Below you've got your tap, which is your pump, which you have to have on to use your sink, hand basin, shower, exterior shower or toilet on this vehicle. Coming along here, you've got all your interior lights. So this is your master switch, and then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. You've got your awning light, and then you've got your dimming switch, which you can dim the lights underneath your lounge settees. Clicking here will give you your water levels. So at the minute we've got 0 fresh and 0 waste on board. And then if you go to here, you've got your battery level. So 14.1 volt in the leisure, 13.7 in the engine. There's 3.3 amps coming off the active battery, which always needs to be a leisure and never your vehicle. Mains current coming on board is 11.2 amp, and the solar panel is showing 1.8 amp, but your mains current always takes priority over your solar panel. And then if you go back to the house, you've got the cog, which is your settings. So your active battery, you always want it on leisure, never smart or never vehicle, as this could swap over to your vehicle battery if it was on smart, and then you would be running the vehicle off your engine battery, which is not advised, as this can flatten the engine battery. Solar battery is on vehicle and smart. Smart will look at both levels of the battery and then transfer to which one needs it the most. Obviously you want it on the vehicle if it's standing for any length of time on the drive or in the storage yard. But if it gets too low, if the vehicle's too high, it's got enough power on board, it will swap over to the lower battery, which will be your leisure battery. You've got your tank fill. You must put this on if you are filling from an aqua roll holding tank or bucket outside, like I've shown you, and this will start sucking the water with the pump into the van. And then you do have your tank heaters. So if it's going to be a cold frosty night, put your tank heaters on, and this keeps the water from freezing in the tanks underneath the chassis. You've got your light settings, so your dimmer levels, and you've got your screen settings, and you can set the date and time, and then that is back to your main control. So to operate your Truma digital control panel, which controls your heating and hot water, press and hold until it comes onto this screen, and then to enter, press OK. You then have the thermometer in the van. If you click that, this is the temperature of the vehicle. So you've got off all the way to 30 degrees. Once you're happy with the temperature, so for this we'll say 25, press the wheel and it'll save the temperature to 25 degrees. Moving along, you've got the thermometer in the water. So this is your hot water. So you've got off, so you wouldn't have the water on if there was no water on board. You can have it on, eco, or you can have it on hot, or you can have it on boost, where the water takes priority over the heating. Moving along, you have your gas bottle and electricity mark. So if you press there, you've got gas on its own. So if you're wild camping, you would be on gas. A mixture of 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. A mixture of 2 kilowatts of electric and gas. Electric at 1 kilowatt, which you'd use if you are on a smaller CL site, or electric on 2 kilowatts, which you'd use if you were on a main camping caravan site. You'd use a mix 2 in the winter, or if you were in desperate need to heat the vehicle or heat the water, you put on mixture of 2, and you'd use both sources together, which will give you a bigger output. And then moving along, you've got the fan, so it would be on Eco, which is the 12-volt assisted fan. Eco if you're wild camping to save the battery. High if you were on mains electric hookup. Coming down here, you've got a timer where you can time the heating to come on and off once. You've got a clock, so you can set the clock time on the display panel, and you've got a reset button, so if you get a warning triangle, you can reset the boiler like so. So press and hold, and this will reset the boiler. And there you can see that the reset has reset the boiler, and the boiler is working and hot and space heater without a problem, as there's no warning triangle. To operate your Fetford Slimline fridge freezer, you turn on here, press and hold to change the energy source, so square button until start flashing. So there we're on mains hookup. Battery, which is only works when the engine is running, so it's designed to keep the fridge at the same temperature it was when departing. So the idea here is to pre-cool your fridge the day before. So if you want to move it to a different source, you've got on mains electric, battery and gas if you're wild camping. Once you're happy you're on the right source, you select it, OK, select the temperature of the fridge, and then that is lit on gas by itself. If I was to light it on the battery, it would fail. This has gone red, showed you it's failed because the engine is not running. Like I said, idea here is if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, or you've got hookup at your storage yard, hook the vehicle up the day before, put your shopping in, allow it to cool overnight, and then when you are ready to travel, your shopping will stay nice and cool. No matter how long you travel, the shopping should be nice and fresh and still edible when you get there. And then you go back to mains hookup, which you'd use if you're going to a site. And it's away on mains 240 volt electric. Also, when you are winterizing the vehicle or not using it, if you wipe the fridge down, so take all your shopping out, wipe it down with some antibac, make it smell nice. Last thing you want to do is shut the door because it seals the air inside. You want to allow the door to be open, so if you pull this tab out, this blue tab, halfway, it allows the seal to slightly stay off the door frame and allows air circulation in and out. And you've also got your freezer box there as well. So now in the kitchen, you've got 3 gas burner rings. Like so, and then 1 electric hot plate, which is this one here. So just be careful because there's no light that indicates that's on, that you haven't knocked it and you've hooked up, because if you hook up and you leave that on, it will shatter the glass with it being hot. And once you've used it, allow it to cool before you put the lid down for obvious reasons. And then below you do have your grill. And your oven. So, always, if you're having any trouble with lighting the fridge or the Truma control panel on gas, so your boiler, your space heater, if you always bring it through the hob first, as this is the highest place for gas, and then you can then try and light your other gas appliances. And below you do have your plug, which is in the corner here for your hot plate, so any problems with that you can turn it off or isolate it. And then here you do have your gas taps. So these are your red taps in here. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced. The technician will test that the gas is working accordingly and to the right standards. So your chopping board and sink cover stores away underneath the microwave when travelling. So So this just pushes and you can get access to that as well. And then in here you do have your cups, bowls, plate rack, isolation for the microwave. So if this is just a household microwave, so any problems with the microwave, if you need to change it in the future or anything, you can. And these are just your Thetford fridge vent covers to go behind when winterizing. You've got your lights here, which so should the lights be on the main control panel. It'll do your under cabin light and your under your bench, your light here, which is just on this side of the bench. So now in your bathroom, to operate your toilet, as long as the pump's on, you'll be able to press this blue button, which is your flush. You'll notice the fan kicks in, and to stop the fan, just press it. It goes to solid, the fan's off, flashing, the fan's on. So you'll be able to press and hold. So press and hold this button here when the pump's on, like so, and the bowl will fill with water. And then to deposit your waste, this grey slide here, if you slide it to the right, opens up and allows it into the cassette. So this is your trapdoor or your blade or your slide, whatever you want to call it. And basically this must be closed to get the cassette out the exterior of the vehicle, otherwise it won't come out. This will indicate red when the cassette is full and needs emptying and replenished with chemical. You've got your toilet roll holder, you've got your cupboards here for all your toiletries, and one under here as well, underneath the sink. Light for your bathroom, more cupboard space. When travelling, always make sure your shower screens, the turnbuckle is turned to stop them from moving. Towel rail there, or you can use it for your wet coats if you've been caught in the rain, walking the dog, or out for a walk. Like I said, in the winter, take the shower head off and allow this hose to lie flat instead of being all bended. And then open your windows, use the little arms, push out and fasten with this black knob, and then loosen to bring it back in. Always make sure your skylights and windows are closed when travelling. You do have a blackout blind and a fly screen to keep the unwanted guests out on all windows. And then now use your skylight, press the button, pull it back all the way out if it's a nice day, and put it into the roofs for some nice ventilation. And again, always make sure that the bars above the button, blackout blind and fly screen. Underneath your bed, your winter drain taps down there, which is accessible through the locker. You've got your storage, your carpets, your unwinding handle, your boiler, which holds 10 litres of water at any one time, is located in here. So this keeps the underneath the bed lovely and warm. And you do have your table, which needs to be used to make the front bed up. But to operate your table, you would just pull the legs up until it clicked and then drop this. It's basically just exactly like an ironing board, so your legs just pull out and you can put that either at the front of the vehicle or outside if it's a lovely day. To make the front bed up, you need to move this centre cushion out, even the same as if you were travelling. So this is exactly the same if you were travelling. Slide this out and then put that underneath the bed. So if you're travelling there, you get your leg room for the passenger closest to the window, or you can slide this in here. So if you slide the table in, so along this lip here and underneath there as well. Like so, and then you could use the cushions to make the bed, and also to get the boom arm table out the way. If you just use the lever underneath, loosen it off so it's loose enough to turn on itself, like so, and then tighten so it can store behind there. And then you'd slide this one in the middle, pull the leg down for support when someone's sleeping on it, use the backrest in here and use that one in there, and there you have a large single bed. In the cupboard above the seating area is your power supply unit. So you've got all your 12-volt fuses there, which are listed here, so it would be a good idea to carry some spares. You've got all your MCBs and RCDs. These two need to stay on, so just leave them on and don't touch them. They'll only work when on 240 volt. If not, you'd use your heating and hot water of gas, which will work on the control panel, and your charger wouldn't work because it wouldn't be bringing any 240 in to split the charge. You've got a system shutdown button here, so if you wanted to isolate the van over the winter time, you can do. Your build numbers here, so if you ever need any parts from us, quote this number and we'll know what part is for your vehicle. And then this one is fitted with the MaxView Sat system, so to turn it on like so, you'll then have 1 to 5 flash. It'll start flashing on 2 until it locks on to a solid light. Lift the dish, this will then lock onto a solid light once the dish has found Astro 2. If you did want to change to the satellite for any reason, going further abroad, you just press sat until it started finding on the 1 to 5 you were looking for. So there you'll hear on the roof that the satellite is just moving to find Astro 2. Then once it's found it, there you go. So you'll know when the Astro has been locked onto the satellite, as it is solid on 2, so it's found Astro 2 in the sky and your telly is working. So once you've turned the telly on by pressing the power button at the top of the remote to the top right hand corner where the magic eye is on the Avtex TV, and you've got it on source satellite, it should automatically find the TV channels. You may have to go into menu or TV setup, go down to the satellite and do a search, and this would find as many channels as it can in your area on satellite, but it should automatically pick up on the sat. If you did struggle to get a signal, which you shouldn't do because you've got satellite, you can change it to go to source, change it to DVD, or change it to digital TV. And if you wanted to tune it on digital TV, you'd press AQT, press and hold. This is on the digital free view, so you'd press and hold AQT down until you got this screen. Press OK, and it will do an auto tune and find as many free view channels as it can. But with this having a satellite, you probably wouldn't be using digital TV. And then the telly just stores away neatly here. Turn the buckle. If you did struggle to get the telly down when you've released the buckle, there is a bar here, so you just pull the lever to release the TV. Above you've got your double bed, so you pull this out to its full length, and then once it's out, the mattress is out the wrapper, you'll be able to pull it out in half, and then you have your double bed. This bar goes through the material, which then clips onto the clips here, so if you have small children up in the bed, they will not roll out of bed on an evening. And then the ladder would clip onto here as well. To operate this skylight, you'd loosen the arms off and then use the winding handle here to wind it up. Again, just because it's over the cab, you can't use it as a sunroof when driving on a nice day. It must be shut securely, and then you do have fly screen blackout blind. So now in your cab, so So at the right of the driver you do have your handbrake, which is just down here. You've got your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments, which you just choose which mirror you wanted, either the top or the blind spot. You've got your fog lights, which are rear fog lights, and your headlight adjustment. Trip computer on the end of your wiper stalk, which does your tells you your range, your instant, your average consumption, your travelling times, and your distance travelled. You've got your hands-free. This will scroll through your radio channels, your tracks, or your contacts, depending on what you have the head unit on. You've got voice command, volume, mute, lights and indicators, speed limit and cruise control. And then you do have a 6-speed manual gearbox with lift the collar up into reverse, and then there is your reverse camera come on the head unit. This turns your traction control off. Forget about this one because it's more for an automatic. It doesn't work on the manuals because it's hill descent control. Hazard lights, locks the car door and motorhome door, with this model having central locking on the habitation door. Heated mirrors, USB for charging and 12 volt for charging. Down here you've got a USB for your head unit input. Temperature, fan speed must be on at least one or more for the aircon to work, which then is the air conditioned, is this box is air conditioned. So if you've got chocolate or sweets for on the road, keep them in there instead of the fridge. And that gets cold as well with the air conditioning on. Distribution, so where you want the air to go to, and your circulation, either recirculating air or bringing fresh air in. On your head unit you've got your radio, which is FM, AM and DAB. Once you're happy with the channel you've got, you can press 1 to 3 to save, or you can go to all and save 12 radio channels there. You go to media, which is either a CD, Bluetooth audio or USB. You've got your navigation, which is TomTom. So you go to your nav, press nav on here. Once it loads, it'll ask you to set a home location. I wouldn't advise setting one, I would just set near. So I wouldn't exactly put your address in, because if someone steals your motorhome they know where you live. So I would always put the estate, the street before, the street near the house, but not the exact street or house number. Just because, like I said, if the vehicle is stolen, they could come and target the house, and that's the last thing you want, is your house broken into and your motorhome stolen. So for this we'll just put our postcode in for Tyne Valley to let us continue. United Kingdom, so country, and then NA 166 NS, which is Tyne Valley Motorhomes postcode. You can change this when you get it home, but just to show you. So agree, done, and then you go navigate to home, which will be this address because I've just popped it in. Recent addresses, which will come up once you start using the sat nav, or addresses, and you can put the city or postcode in there and it will find. If you were going abroad, you can press here, so press the flag and change it to the country you're going to. France, anywhere you can put your country in, so you can put in here and find your country, and then the postcode will work, as this is a European sat nav. You can press phone here, pair of phone, yes. It'll ask you to find Uconnect, make sure the pins match. Pair on your device, so always look for the Bluetooth on your smart device, so your iPhone or your smartphone. Find Uconnect, press pair, then ask you if you want to sync your contacts. Press yes, and then it will download your phone book, so whoever rings will come through here. And more just gives you a trip computer, your compass and your clock. Above you do have a folder for your paperwork, or you can put your phone in there. So if you put your phone in there like so, and that is secure or sat nav if you're using a different sat nav to the one that's already on the van. And then on the windscreen and side windows you've got Remus cab blinds. So if you pinch, slide the bottom out, pinch, slide it in the middle, and do the same this side. They're just magnetic, so elastic band or bob around here on a blustery night to stop them pinging open is a good thing to do. And then on the visor you do have Fate camera assist number, so if you do need any assistance or you've broken down or anything, if you call that number they'll send some help out to you.